have any regrets from the earlier days of not finishing school when you had the chance to?
No.
Just had to ask that question.
I'm sure if I didn't make it here, I might have, or I probably would have just gone back. But I mean, my bodybuilding career was like opening right in front of me, and I couldn't really juggle both, and I had to take a risk. But people always ask me that question, like, should I drop out of college and do this? And I'm like, no. And I'm like, they're like, what? I'm like, well, if you have to ask me that, then you're not committed enough to do it. And you should know yourself that you're going to put the effort into this. This shouldn't be a lazy excuse. Like, I don't like school. I don't want to do it. Like, it's not going to be fun, but if you need it or it helps you, then it'll help you. But you have to show that you're willing to put in work somewhere and effort somewhere. And then you can fit into like a real career. And then so all these people just want like the easy way out. And I'm like, that's not why I did it. I didn't do it for the easy way out. I did it because I was going to put more work into this, and I knew I had an opportunity to become something.
Sit me down and tell me how that conversation went when you told your mum and dad that you weren't going to drop out of school and focus on bodybuilding.
They were actually decently understanding.
Okay.
I think, I'm pretty sure I laid it out to them as I'm going to take a year off and then come back, so I had to ease my way into it. And I was like, all right, so if by the end of this year I'm more successful and I've done more, I can be like, okay, I'm going to do another year. And then if I get to a point where they're like, you don't even need school anymore, you've done all this other stuff, then I'm good. Then I don't have to even worry about it.
Well, clearly you haven't, because your mum is still trying to get you back to school. There,
exactly. Mom's still like, go get that degree. I'm like, I still got to work harder.
Didn't you take a semester off though earlier prior to the last semester you took off?
I went down to part-time in the last year.
Yeah.
When I was
little
prepping
research
for the
that I've
Olympia.
done.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little research. So there's the last semester conversation you had with your mum and dad, I'm sure it was just like, is this going to be like it was before? Clearly it wasn't. And I know that they're incredibly proud of both.
They've been so supportive of both me and my sister, but like they've been to every Olympia I've ever done. I think they've only missed 2 shows I've ever done in my life, and they didn't understand bodybuilding as most parents don't at the beginning. Like why are you so hungry?
Same.
Like, eat an apple, like it's healthy, like all that.
You don't look good.
The typical question, it's healthy.
Yeah.
Eat the apple, and I'm like, I can't. But they get it now. They're super good. Whenever I travel home, there's a pot of rice on the stove. There's chicken breast cooked, plain, nothing on it. Like, they're on it. They know, and they've been super supportive. So I'm very grateful for that.
Same as my parents. At first it was the education of trying to teach them, but then they realized soon enough the people that I kind of had around me, Neil Hill, one of my old training partners, Steve Naylor, shout out to Steve Naylor. He, business owner, very well-spoken, soft-spoken guy. And then they were like, oh, okay. The cliche of bodybuilders, depending on who you're looking at. And, if you're looking at the Arnold era, iconic. And then there's other people that have kind of, but again, it goes back to what I said, 15 minutes ago, of transition in bodybuilding has gone from iconic. And then there was a couple of athletes, no names mentioned, that kind of, thought they were NBA superstars and treated the fans like shit. And that stigma got out. A lot of people started talking bad about bodybuilding, egos and stuff like that. And you have gone and marched against every stereotype that's out there. And again, one of the reasons why I've said to many people, it's refreshing to see somebody of your stature, of your social media following, not putting himself out there to look like, oh, I'm the man. It's very refreshing, and I think that one of many reasons why I enjoy seeing your progress and seeing all these new things that you're getting into, which kind of leads me into my next segue. Chris Bumstead, the businessman. Holy shit, my friend! Is there any other markets we are, that I should be prepared not to get into? Shall I say? You're doing fantastic, mate. Incredible.
Thank you.
Incredible.
I appreciate it. It's been a fun new journey for sure, tapping into that and being able to, as a bodybuilder, you can have a lot of free time if you're smart with it. So having a lot of free time and being able to pour it all into that has been super lucky. And I would not be where I am without my partners that I've done it all with, Maddie and Matt, who are just here. Yeah. Dom, absolute wizard when it comes to business. So without them behind my back, because obviously I still have to check out and be a bodybuilder.
Of course.
Most of the time, that's my number one priority still. Mm-hmm. So having them to kind of handle the X's and O's that I can't really do and take things on to the next level has been like the reason why things have gotten where they've gotten. And it's been a fun journey, being able to build something. Like, we've built a personal brand through our career, people being able to connect with you as a person, but being able to connect that brand into a company a feeling of a brand of what does this represent. If you wear the clothes, you take the supplements, like what is behind the meaning of that? Like what do the people who own it represent? What does the brand represent? And why am I really taking it? Other than just the quality of it. So being able to build that and put that into something has been a lot of fun. And I've been enjoying putting my effort into that. And it'll be the next step after my career too. We'll just be doubling down on that.
Well, before we talk about that, there's not many people that are able, especially in our industry, that are able to have a business, run it successfully whilst they're still competing. Most of every company that I've either been affiliated with or friends with have all done this after they've hung out their trunks.
Yep.
Rich Kaspari, Lee Labrada, Jay Cutler, etc. Then the list goes on. You were doing this as you're on top. I've done my businesses as well on top, but then it's very difficult knowing that you have a show and then all of a sudden 8 weeks out, 6 weeks out, you are going to be getting more and more distance away. But if anything, I've seen you kind of embellish in that time. And yes, putting your brand, your personal brand and focusing on the shows and stuff like that are coming up, the Mr. Olympia or whatever you got going on. But you still have a good team around you that make sure that the Olympia is something that can be truly utilized. A lot of hype.
Yeah.
But you have a great team around you. You mentioned Matt. Me and Matt go way back. Very personal friend of mine. Love Matt to death. Close friend. Great relationship with Dom as well. As you said, he's been involved with multiple different businesses. So you have so many great people around you that are not in your lane but strong in their own.
Yeah.
But going back to yourself, and how difficult is it for you to balance all these things that are going on off season, let alone pre-contest?
I mean, it comes in waves for sure, and I have structure my year. Yeah. And this is why I'm very grateful that I do one show a year. And I also can't put on too much weight with my weight cap because there's a large lull in my year where I'm like taking a step back and I'm just focusing on my training. My food's not too high, so I have energy. I'm not pushing anything. I'm still like just going. Yeah. So I'm able to I stack all my travel in the first half of the year right after the Olympia. And then after like 3 months out, I'm not traveling at all. And usually 1 or 2 things will squeak into my prep. And then when I'm in the office, I'm there from maybe like 10 to 5. Typically Monday to Friday. Mm-hmm. And when I'm in there, I can just chill if I need to. It's relaxing. And it takes my mind off being hungry, honestly. It gives me something to do. I'm like twiddling my fingers at home waiting for my next meal, or I can go be doing something and be busy. So being able to juggle that, definitely. The difficult part sometimes is just when you get carried away and you're busy all day, and then the end of the day comes and you have to train and you're exhausted. And you're like, okay, this is not the rhythm I need to be into because I need my energy for the gym. Mm-hmm. So just being able to structure everything for that has been probably the hardest part, but I enjoy it, honestly. I do. And like I said, if I didn't have the people who could step in when I need to step away, like that, and they understand Olympia is my priority. They're all like literally like, don't even come in the office. Go relax, go to the gym, do what you need to do, because they understand what I need to do. So that's been super helpful. And to your point earlier of everybody always starts the business after, I think it's because they don't really trust people or they're not lucky enough. I'm very lucky to have such good people in my life. And it's also very hard to turn down good contracts at the peak of your career. So I'm technically pocketing less money than I've been offered. I've been offered some stupid shit to become at this point in my career. I'm like, holy, I've turned down some money that I never fathomed I would make in a lifetime, let alone in a year. And I've just had to say no because I want to focus on my own companies. And this is, when I'm done, I'm not going to get those offers, but I'm trying to build a company that's going to be worth way more than that in the future. So I think it's really hard for a lot of people to say no to those things, but I'd rather put my effort and the people follow me and they respect me for what I do, and I want to give them something that that I really respect and stand behind. And what do I stand behind more than something I've built myself?
Absolutely.
So I've really just put my focus on that, put aside the contracts and checks that have come my way, and just forget about it, focus on this. And I'm happy I did, regardless of outcome of money. If I would have made more one way or the other, I'm happy I'm doing what I'm doing because I enjoy it, and it's a lot more fun doing it for myself. For sure.
Thank you for watching this segment. Check out the full interview on iTunes, Spotify, or YouTube. Help us by subscribing, leave a like, comment, or a positive review. Click this to see what YouTube recommends, and this to see the full interview. See you on the next one. Out.